Good morning everybody. This is me, Waddles. With the drop of the Tricky Trials update upon us, it's time for a brand new adventure. I've hand sorted through a ton of different Minecraft 1.21 seeds in search of the very best ones. In today's video, we'll be taking a look at the cream of the crop when it comes to Minecraft 1.21 seeds. Tap that like button, comment your favorite thing about 1.21 down below, and let's go. So for seed number 1 today, I figured there's only one way to kick things off, and that's with a nice, simple, honest seed. Right off the bat, inside of this world, you'll spawn somewhere tucked between oak and birch trees, with spruce trees right nearby. Well, if we get enough distance on this thing and follow the shoreline, we find out that we spawn on a gigantic island. Now, taking a look around here, we're kind of smack dab in the middle of an ocean. We've got a giant icebergy patch over there, couple smaller islands there, and actually, if you're very intuitive, a shipwreck. But for this seed, I didn't really pick it because of its remarkableness. Instead, I picked it because of the trial chamber inside of this world, which, by the way, is pretty close to world spawn. Head towards the icebergs and eventually you'll find it under the ocean. It's a nice quaint spawn, but in reality, I picked this seed for Minecraft to Java and Bedrock, by the way, because of this trial chamber right here. And, well, really, to be honest, because it's kind of like the perfect intro to the trial chambers. And so if you don't know how these chambers work, you're gonna have 3 different categories of mobs in every chamber, and debris as well. The ranged mob you'll end up facing in this trial chamber is going to be the Stray, marked by ice blocks. We also got the plain old breeze, that'll be the same every single time. The second category of hostile mobs you'll be able to face inside of the trial chambers is small mobs. For our small mob, we've got the easiest one, the Slime. And then, continuing to journey through the rest of the chamber, we'll find melee mobs eventually. And for our melee mobs, the plain old classic spider, just about the easiest one in the book. Zooming out to take a look at the trial chamber structure itself, I mean, it's a nice average trial chamber. It's just that this chamber right here, if you need to practice, is pretty much the perfect, easiest chamber you could ever dream of finding. Next up, moving on, seed number 2, and seed number 2 starts off with a bang. I love this area right here. The idea of living in the jungle biome with that fire grass color, oh, that's a chef's kiss of a move. We also have this small little island right there. I love that idea too. Maybe like a light post or something, a lighthouse or something like that. Anyways, from world spawn, which is somewhere right over there, if we head across the jungle, before too long, we're going to locate something that is very, very special. So from spawn, we started over there, marched across the jungle to find this pyramid. And then we hit a forest right here with some mixed trees, and then look at all of this beautiful biome diversity. Even better, it's all right next to an ocean, so theoretically, it's so easy in the first half of a Minecraft day to make a boat and sail right over here using no hunger at all. You got these crazy hoodoos, I think that's what they're called. They're so cool looking, and a big desert. Even better on the surface of the Badlands, this should be pretty easy to find even more spawners with loot. But I know, this is the Minecraft 1.21 Trial Chamber update. So back over at World Spawn, the closest to Trial Chamber is going to be pretty close to spawn, straight out essentially in the ocean. Also, if you were curious about it, there are multiple shipwrecks inside of this ocean and off on the horizon. I don't know if you can see it. Anyways, moving underneath that hill under the water, down under the ground, we will find a trial chamber, and right off the bat, front and center, one of the coolest things you could ever dream of. This is the one thing that I'm not sure if it's going to be exactly identical on Minecraft, Bedrock, and Java, but inside of this chamber, we have none other than a beautiful skeleton spawner. Beautifully, at least on Minecraft Java, this thing is literally touching this giant open corridor of the trial chamber. It's so cool. Right nearby, you also have a couple bog spawners, so maybe you could set up a normal skeleton spawner farm, and then a couple bog farms over here for boys and arrows. Continuing the thing that I'm not sure if it's in perfect parity on Java and Bedrock, we have an amethyst geode. Yeah, an amethyst generator. Smack dab inside of the trial chamber structure. Now, unfortunately, because of how this chamber is going to generate, a lot of the geode is going to be cut away. However, it is still an amethyst geode with at least a couple budding amethyst blocks. A huge thing to keep in mind or learn about this update if you didn't know is the fact that outside hostile mobs will not spawn inside of the trial chamber. That means, theoretically, you could take this chamber on the first time. It might be a little bit difficult with a double bog, but take it on, cage these bog spawners up afterwards. Then you've got a mob-proof base with a skeleton experience farm that you could build, and easy amethyst geode as well. But aside from that amazing setup, I mean, it's your average trial chamber. All right, next up, you got to be careful. If we're spawned inside of this one, for whatever reason, we have a magma block sitting smack dab on the surface. As soon as I saw that, I knew that was going to be kind of a good luck charm. Then I turned around and saw, oh my gosh, the rolling hills of this world right here. If I was going to pick a seed for Minecraft 1.21, well, I wouldn't necessarily pick this one, maybe the next one. But wow, you get that cool spawn, then you've got a giant ocean right behind with some giant trees off in the distance over there. Thanks to that small chunk of trees right there and all of these other ones, you have quite a bit of wood options right at world spawn. Moving over towards these giant rolling hills, I mean, of course, technically in Minecraft they're mountains, but when looking around in this world, I found a great spot, I think, for a potential base. That's going to be at approximately -227 and -330. Right on this hill right here, you gotta get these other massive hills on the horizon, at least if your render distance is high enough. But trial chamber, right? Next up for this one, we're actually going to send ourselves quite a bit of a ways away. Instead of finding ourselves the closest trial chamber this time, we're gonna find one that's a little farther away. Just like that one we checked out in the ocean too, kind of interestingly, this is right on a giant climate divide here, and this is like a wild looking one of the harshest ones I've seen in a while. If you like the idea of spawners tied to your trial chamber, kind of like the last one, well, you take a seat. So for this chamber, we head over to these coordinates, start heading down, and before we even touch the trial chamber, we find a skeleton spawner, maybe the most valuable spawner out of all of them. However, let's go ahead and pass that one up and keep moving down. Eventually, once we're inside of the trial chamber, we'll find a room at this location that looks like this with the powder snow all over the place. Over on this wall right here that kind of cuts up and goes away from the powder snow, dig a couple blocks out, and look at that beautifully. We've got another skeleton spawner touching the trial chamber, but it gets even better this time. Instead of it just being a skeleton spawner, right next to it, nearby, you get a cave spider spawner as well. You could easily set up a skeleton farm and then separately, right next door, a cave spider one, dumping maybe over into this room where you stand and actually just take the mobs out. Tiny little trial chamber pro tip if you're going to convert this into a base: water bucket plus powder snow gets rid of the powder snow like literally immediately. And speaking of this cool chamber, on the opposite end of the trial chamber, somewhere over here, if we were to dig out the wall a little bit, we hit a cave. Right inside of this cave, you hit diamonds. And then right after that, you hit the deep dark biome. Now, the deep dark biome, I mean, it's going to be a little bit of a hazard, sure, but this place is great for mining diamonds. If you were trying to speedrun 1.21 or something, this seed might not be a bad seed. You could head right down to these caves that are actually pretty good, find diamonds, a deep dark biome, and whatever. Right nearby our little diamond cave, we also have a big cave that gets a little bit more wide open. I followed this cave for a while and found quite a bit of diamonds inside of it and another mine shaft. So check it out. But back over to the room that we kind of launched our diamond hunting operation from. What is the one thing that would make this chamber a little bit better? If you listen closely, there's a little bit of spoilers, but so far, when it comes to normal Minecraft spawners, easy to farm ones, we've got a spider one, we've got a skeleton one. All that I could really dream of is a zombie spawner right nearby. Oh, what's that? A zombie spawner right nearby too. I'm kind of a large fan of the idea of, in this update, converting a trial chamber into a base. Remember that you could theoretically actually dig these spawners out as well, but having a breeze spawner right here, set up a breeze farm inside of this room too, you've got a zombie spawner nearby, and at the other end, the other spawners too, and you have the best trial chamber for mob farming ever. Next up, if you haven't yet, two things. So tap that like button, it helps the videos out huge time, and I'd love to make more seed videos. And then after that, there's the world seed. Take a seed, please, because this seed right here, if I was making a new world for Minecraft 1.21, I might legally have to go with this one or one more that we're going to check out today because, oh man, it's beautiful. Right at world spawn, as we slowly turn around, gigantic wall of blue snowy ice. Now let's say we commit to this one and go ahead and head over towards it. Moving over towards this wall, as we start to climb it, we find one of my favorite features of a Minecrafted generation ever. Look at this mountain right here. It's one of those giant bowl mountains, like giant edge all the way around, mountains that reach all the way up into the sky, trees going down, and then a small simple meadow biome at the bottom. This area down there could be the perfect spot for a base or a whole village. Then you got the forest around it, and then capping it off, the giant walls all around you. I'm so envious if you go with this world that this is isn't my world. It's so good. Also, the blue and yellow flowers, those are beautiful colors together. Also, you're gonna find some resident goats sitting up here. That's pretty cool. But anyways, going back over to World Spawn, which is on the side of the most beautiful mountain. On the horizon, you also have this big fjord over there, if you'd like to build by that, and well, a spawn village. So right from spawn, side of that mountain, go ahead and move straight off towards the ocean. Pretty easy to find with all these beautiful mountains nearby, and eventually you're going to find a taiga village. For the era of Minecraft 1.21, always keep in mind how useful villagers actually are, more specifically cartographer villagers. If you can get a villager to take the job. After 2 levels of trading with One-Eyed Glasses Man, you have the chance to get a trial chamber map, and I find that more often than not, you get one. Back over at World Spawn, another beautiful thing that I found inside of this one is heading between these 2 snowy capped mountains. Before too long, we see a plains biome. Now you might have caught a glimpse of it when I was given that slow, dramatic fly through, but check that out right there. Inside of the plains biome, we have just about the world's newest, smallest cherry blossom biome right there, next to some giant, spiky, tall mountains. This is kind of what I imagine it to be like out west in like the Rocky Mountains or something. You got like these giant spikes, and then maybe these ones are like the Appalachian Mountains with the skinwalkers and like trees and everything, you know? Anyways, biome diversity, I don't know how many times I've said it today, but tucked in there, a very small dark oak forest biome as well. Of course, no mansion or anything, but a different wood type. Eventually, you find this giant meadow biome, which is kind of trippy looking, at least to me. It's got like a perfect rim of hair. It's like a old man balding. In the old man balding meadow biome at the other end of it, you've got another option for a beautiful village. Okay, so now finally, the other thing that is really great inside of this world. From World Spawn, we're gonna head off again in between the 2 mountains. You get some crazy land generation in here, by the way, that sort of looks like alpha Minecraft. Like, this stuff is actually insane. But anyways, we're going to keep going in between the 2 mountains, the crevices, until we find a different crevice in the ground. It's going to look something like that at approximately these coordinates. After that, we're going to go ahead and head straight down into the ground. Before too long, we're going to hit a trial chamber. This room right here, assembly, it's got to be one of my favorite ones. It's just so cool and fun with the breeze and all the floor traps. Off of the side of this room, approximately at those coordinates, you will find... Well, though, could you tell I'm a fan of mob farms, specifically spawners next to chambers? Sliding back over into the chamber, we got another relatively easy one with stray and a normal skeleton. Once you reach the pool crossroads room, right here at the corner, we gotta check something out, listening to the sounds. Right behind the grate. Like, actually perfectly this time. This is so cool how this worked out, but right behind the grate right there, we've got another spawner, a skeleton one, right inside of the chamber. It's beautiful. But you know how Minecraft biomes work, right? The mountains on the surface, they were a little bit of a spoiler. Maybe you saw this coming from a million miles away, but well, the most ancient of every city. Inside of this relatively average seeming ancient city, we've got the ancient city. You know, big long corridors, big giant mysterious portal. They've got to do something with it, you know, right? You know. However, moving over to this side of the city, this land generation, and it's easy to spot with night vision, but the land generation is really weird and rounded. This land generation, when you see something that looks like this inside of your caves in 1.21, you gotta break inside of it, because more often than not, it's going to lead to a trial chamber. Yeah, that's right. We've got a trial chamber practically, not quite, but almost touching the ancient city. The idea that you could head into the trial chamber, get geared up, maybe win some good armor, and then simply head back to the 3x3x1 door that is a lie, mine a couple of blocks out, start heading straight down, and eventually drop yourself right into an ancient city. Well, yeah, that's kind of a beautiful look. And hey, actually, correction, you can see it from the ancient city. I didn't even realize that. Alright, now so far today, we've focused a lot on the trial chambers, and they're beautiful and all. It's the main part of the update, but let's rewind things for a second, all the way back to this video right here, in the Minecraft 1.20.5. What released inside of that update? Oh yes, that's right, Dillos and Dogs. So inside of this world right here, we've got a beautiful spawn. I like this one. I'm calling this one the Biomes O Plenty Seed. We spawn right inside of the forest biome, get trees right off the bat, a small cherry blossom biome, so you get the pink wood. Then let's go ahead and turn over this way, cut across the river, and slide into the armadillo biome. Right over here at spawn, you should easily be able to find armadillos chilling inside of the biome waiting. What else is inside of this biome chilling waiting? Well, of course, the closest spawn village of the day today. And because this biome keeps going, you're bound to find some beautiful new dogs inside of it too. Also, right across the way, we've got a giant jungle biome, including a sparse jungle. If one village wasn't enough for you though, hey, I got you. You've got a second village not too far off from the first one and a beautiful mountain behind spawn. Slide on over to the sparse jungle biome, and I was fortunate enough to find the sparse jungle wolf right here. Look at that boy. Keep going this way and all, man. This seed just keeps getting better and better. You get a lush cave, a marker right there. Head down to the cave, do your caving thing. You got the hoodoos over there with the Badlands biome. It's all beautiful, really, but let's go ahead and rewind things. Reset it back to world spawn. So over back here at World Spawn, straight off this way we get a giant ocean, very useful for far travel early on. And back behind us we get the stony peaks with the calcite mountain. Traveling out past that tiny little cherry blossom biome, you'll find tons of sweet caves. And for a point of reference, we're essentially following this giant landmass right here past the cool curved ravine, kind of old school right there, until we find this peninsula right here. Now remember this approximate location because before we check that out, well, first we need to head off into the ocean because straight across the ocean we get the giant pine tree biomes, both of them. You also get a little bit of a frozen ocean. Keep that in mind. We'll come back to it in a second, but yes, these giant tree biomes next to a plains biome, great biome for finding some beautiful brand new wolves inside of it too. Well, well, well. Trial chambers, every single seed's got a couple of them. From that giant tree biome where we found the new rare wolves, we find a lush cave marker on the beach, and then straight off towards the iceberg ocean. Right over here, above this area of the ocean, slide down onto the ground and you find yourself one of the most beautiful trial chambers that I have ever set my eyes on. On the outside of the trial chambers, you've got the most glorious cave biome out of all of them. On the inside of the trial chambers, oh, it continues. All over the place because this bug wasn't patched up for the release of Minecraft 1.21. It's beautiful. The lush cave features. You got the vines. You got the little like spore blossom things going on. Even the bog in here, which is going to be a whole headache. But it kind of fits with the lush cave biome. This entire trial chamber experience, oh man, it's beautiful. With the lush caves and the spore particles drifting into pretty much every single room. Ah, I love it. Back towards spawn, and the peninsula I told you to remember, also sort of the end of the spawn landmass, down under the ocean. What do you think? 3, 2, 1, oh, you're out of time already. Another trial chamber, real close to world spawn. There wasn't anything too necessarily significant about this one, it's just another one nearby that gets pretty big. And so here we are, we've made it. The final seed of today's video. I would like to thank you all so much for coming by, picking this video, watching it. I hope you found the seed of your dreams here with me. Absolutely keep me in mind for any of your 1.21 needs. I've got so many guides out. In fact, I'm going to leave a playlist on the end card that'll come up in a couple minutes here. That playlist will either be the Everything series or the 1.21 playlist. Anyway, the seed finale today. It's a whole jumble of numbers, right? Ending in 227. World spawn right here is a snowy, cold, frozen one. We have a giant wall right behind us. Is really cool looking with a waterfall going into this frozen lake. Well, turn over this way and you've got 15-year-old me's favorite biome of all time. I always thought this thing was like so majestical, the ice spikes, and so insanely rare. You also have like 2 cherry blossom trees. It's a nice plains biome as well. Unfortunately, no village nearby or anything like that, but village, it doesn't matter. Depending on where Minecraft decides to spawn you with this seed, right off the bat, you might be facing one of the most beautiful things of all time. We move to the side slowly, jump and drift right over this hill, and well, wow, look at that cliff right there. It looks like a mouth to me. All I can see is like the top part of the mouth, the teeth hanging down, the lower part stretches out of view, and then the eyes are like maybe the trees or something. Oh, yeah, by the way, right in front of me, I was too taken away by the beautiful mountain, but you do have an igloo that maybe you could make some use of. The igloo also has a basement, so you know what that means. Easy bet right at spawn anyways. Let's go ahead and head over to this giant cave. It cuts out a giant piece of the mountain. It's all on this frozen lake too, so you could use a boat to sail right over into it, but be careful because that's a drop. That goes all the way down to the deep dark biome, and there's a mine shaft in here too. If you're looking to speed run your way to diamonds or just to danger on lifing or something, I don't know your situation, well, this is a great seed for it. Yeah. Now, not that it's nearby or anything, but attached to this deep dark biome, if you follow it for a while, you might have to end up connecting some caves that aren't necessarily connected, but before too long, you'll find an ancient city as well, which is cool. Also, right nearby this giant entrance to the mega cave, you actually have not 1 but 2 spawners. You've got a skeleton one and you've got a spider one right nearby where you could totally have a room, and on either side of it, you have different mobs dropping into it to take them out. So that is beautiful and all, but there is one more thing that could make this world, maybe the exact one, I'd use for mine. Inside of this world, head over to approximately the coordinates -350, -410. This will end up being relatively far from spawn in this super crazy looking area that I've never seen anything like it before, but it's like a river of non-snowy spruce biome, and it's like sandwiched in between the snow. That's pretty crazy looking. You can kind of see the ice spikes biome from here too. The craziest thing, and the reason I would consider this seed for my 1.21 one, is, well, it's under the ground. You're no fool, you know how generation works. If above the ground we had giant mountains, there's a good chance under the ground, especially if there's so many big mountains, we have the deep dark biome, and the deep dark biome, it properly spills into the chamber this time. Because of some of the changes they made in the later snapshots in development, this is a very rare circumstance that the chamber actually intersects. The fact that this chamber actually intersects with the deep dark enough for it to spill into it, oh boy, that's big. So, yeah, that's pretty cool looking. But what if I told you it could get more cool? The rest of the chamber, it's nice. You get a big staircase that goes all the way up to a random chest that's cool. But eventually, at the clear other end of the structure, we run into something more deep and maybe perhaps a little bit more sinister. Tiles. So this seed right here is my ultimate, the one and only cream of the crop. You actually get a tattletale snitch sensor inside of this thing, a little bit of tiles. And why would that be? Well, maybe that's because smack dab, this time for real, it's in the city. I never thought things like this would make it to the 1.21 release, but here we are. We're right inside of the city, this area of the city, the one that, you know, kind of smashes straight into the weird wall right here. Find the part of the ancient city that looks like it's been consumed all out by the wall, go into the wall, and, well, sure enough, it's time to trial. If Minecraft 1.19 and 1.21 had a baby, well, I think it would be this seed right here. Oh, and by the way, another geode too. Anyway, thank you for watching today's video. If you found another cool seed, post the seed in a screenshot over on my subreddit r/waddles. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Check out the playlist, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Goodbye, everyone.